Hey guys, how's it going? This is Bada Boopy, and so I actually forgot to look at the statistics of Chapter 2 in the last video. So before I start Chapter 3, I'm going to go ahead and go through these and see what we came up with here. So curiosity, you and 42% of players stayed quiet when you saw Marcus in the tunnel. Huh. Selflessness, you and 64% of players stepped in front of Dennis to protect him from Marcus. Cool. Mercy, you and 65% of players were easy on Marcus after he surrendered. Cool, that's nice. Alright. I think he's just confused and scared. I think he'll be a good guy. So I think we should definitely try and be friends with him the best we can. See how that pans out. Alright, so chapter 3. Let's see. We follow Marcus into what I can only describe as a control room of sorts. There are countless computer screens, some of which are obviously coming back on from having been shut off. Everything looks extremely complicated, from screens filled with code and data to what is obviously a security system. It reminds me of a miniaturized version of this operations center in just about every space travel movie I've ever seen. Marcus is running from one screen to another, apparently looking for some pertinent bit of information. Where's the first aid kit? I snap at him. Marcus stops in his tracks, as if he had forgotten the whole reason for bringing us down here. Oh yeah, he says, rushing to the left side of the room. There he hunkers down by an opened panel in the wall, what I assume is the emergency vault from where he got the rifle. Computer, because I think we could do the vault after that, maybe. I can make sense of very little that I see, mostly numbers, odd-looking maps, and charts. Altogether, they show what I assume is the beating heart of the peculiar facility Dennis and I have stumbled into. Aside from what the charts, there are scrolling numbers running along the bottom of the screen. Some are temperature readings, but that is all I can tell for sure. I see one screen in particular that I assume would mean bad news for anyone using these monitors for work. Failure, trial 142B, aborted. Error, 4532-5, danger, anomaly detected. Marcus finally pulls out the first aid kit and turns around. When I look back to motion Dennis over, he's paler than ever. Come on, I tell him, but he's not moving from the place on the floor where he sits against the wall. I slide the first aid kit over to him and go scrambling to his side. Between the struggle for the rifle upstairs and arriving in this room, he's fading fast. I struggle to lift his shirt up and then over his shoulders as I dried the blood holes in his place. I struggle to lift his shirt up and then over his shoulders as the dried blood holds it in place. The mere act causes him to grimace. This might hurt a little, I tell Dennis. He only nods. He doesn't seem to care. Just gotta rip the band-aid off. That's probably a bad idea. Figuring that the old rip off a band-aid metaphor applies here, I tear the shirt off him quickly. Plus, I don't feel like we exactly have a lot of time. Dennis lets out a scream of pain and fury. What the hell, man? Sorry, I say, casting the bloody shirt aside for a moment. Wincing in pain, he leans back against the wall and takes a series of deep breaths. His wound is more visible now, although it's partially hidden by the blood that has started to clot around it. My medical knowledge is slim, basically just a bunch of basics I learned in Boy Scouts. I look over to Marcus hopefully and ask, you have any training, he said? Any training? 0, he says. Sorry. It's just as well, I guess. He's far too concerned with what's happening on the monitors to be much of help anyway. I start by taking out several rolls of gauze within the kit and wipe as much blood as I can away from the wound on his side. It's even worse than I had figured from the start. The gash is deep and dark. I'm pretty sure it's infected too. He's going to need stitches, that's for sure, but I have no idea how to even start that. Besides, I don't see tools for it in the kit. When I splash rubbing alcohol over the wound, he responds with a hoarse yelp of surprise but nothing more. His eyes are locked on me and he looks appreciative, but he's also scared. Be honest, Dennis says hopefully. How bad does it look? You think I'll live? You'll be fine. I hope. Good to know, he says, because I sure don't feel like that. You've been through hell, I say. I thought it felt worse. I think it feels worse than it actually looks. Thanks, that's a relief. I won't lie, you're gonna have a scar, I say, trying to be funny. He chuckles a bit, but there's no humor in it. He rests his head against the wall and closes his eyes as I finish up. I place one layer of gauze against the wound and bind it with medical tape. I then reinforce it with a second layer. I know it's meager, but that's all I can do. Thanks, Roger, he says, actually managing to force out a smile. I feel a lot better. I think I'll be fine. I'm not sure about that, but I'm glad I was able to encourage him. Finally, I patch up the bruises on my head a bit, cursing myself again for not grabbing my hard hat. Oh God, I get it. I look back to Marcus, and he is looking back at us deep in thought. My eye is starting to really swell up from where he kicked me earlier. Maybe I shouldn't have let him off so easily. Are these first aid kits all you have in this facility? I ask him. If there's something better, I don't know about it, he says. I notice then that his defensive posture is no longer there. Something is different now, just a slight change in his demeanor. He's seen something on those monitors that has him frightened, more than he already was before. What is it? I ask. What's wrong? His eyes travel around the room, and it's obvious that he's trying to decide whether or not to tell me the truth. Get up. Rather than wait for him, I get up and scan the screens behind him, seeing if I can find any clues I'd missed moments ago. After a few moments, I see a few things that even I can comprehend hidden in the complex information on most of the screens. On one screen, I see what looks like a power meter that is slowly climbing upward. A single message is flashing beneath it. It reads, "Unexpected power failure, foreign entity." Oh my God. Another message trickling along the bottom of the black screen says, "Safety locks on level 3 containment doors engaged. Override." I still see scenes on the few other screens that I assume are security cameras showing hallways and passages from elsewhere in the facility. One of them shows the first level hallway we were just in a few minutes ago. Another shows a hallway I don't recognize. The floor is covered in blood. From just off the screen, I see what I think might be a human body, but it's bent in an impossible way. It looks like the body's legs and torso have somehow been merged or melted into the floor. What the fuck? I have no idea. I didn't see it, he says. Whatever happened to that guy must have happened in the last minute or so. What the hell? I ask. There's something still happening? Are we still in danger? He turns away, clearly fearing he has already said too much. And as bad as that is, there's a scene on another monitor that makes my blood go cold and my fear spike to levels somewhere near terror. The scene is very familiar. It's the logging site. The equipment is unmistakably fine. I can even see my truck. Something like fury starts to rise up in my guts, momentarily pushing aside the fear. For a moment, I consider just tearing into him, a few punches and a shove against the wall, nothing more. I want answers, and I want them now, but I'm not sure which would provide more answers, asking calmly or kicking his ass. Definitely, keeping calm is the good thing to do. Could you please explain to me why you've been spying on my crew? My anger is prodding at me and I have to hold it back again. It's near the surface, demanding a release. It was part of my job. Mine and a few others. Your crew has been watched ever since you set up your equipment. Why? Because you're working with heavy equipment, some of which digs into the ground less than a mile from a secret government facility. I had no idea of that, I say. How could I have known? Marcus gives me that same crooked, trembling smile that is beginning to creep me out. Because those things would draw attention to this place, he says. You have no idea how secretive this facility is. Besides, I know that the higher-ups I looked into, your site isn't on government land. It's shy by about 300 yards. Every piece of your equipment is on private property. The timber tract you purchased from Mr. Gladstone 2 months ago. So even if we wanted to intervene and keep your crew away, we couldn't have without stirring up a fuss. The fact that someone with such a low-level clearance knows this much about my logging crew is unnerving. If you've been watching us, why didn't you recognize us when we met you in the hallway? I ask. He shakes his head and exhales like it's obvious. The cameras have a bird's eye view. I can't see faces. We just track bodies and names. Ask calmly, definitely. So since you have all the surveillance, do you know where the rest of my crew is? I do my best to keep my voice level, even though my impulse is to shout. Well, Marcus says, all of you were on site as usual before the incident. It had been a few hours since I checked though. They might have come near this facility, or maybe not. I don't know. He says this casually like it's not important. Well, are they inside the facility? I ask. You have cameras everywhere, right? Do you see them? Marcus shakes his head. I've been looking all over and I haven't seen your crew. They aren't here. But, he adds, the lower levels don't have any cameras, classified. I'm not sure how they would have gotten there, but it's a possibility. I'm still shocked that we were being watched. Do you know everything about us? I'm telling you, Marcus said, the depth of influence in this facility goes deep. There are 36 employees down here. Outside of those employees, only 5 other people know this place exists. Ask calmly. Stay calm, always. What do all these people do here? I ask, keeping my voice level. He doesn't even pause to consider if he should go any further. He actually laughs when he gives me the answer. I honestly don't know everything, probably very little, but what I do know is that it is more than Black Ops. What does that mean? I ask. There are scientists here who have been disowned by their own governments because of the nature of their work. You get it now? I don't, not at all, but I don't want him to know about that. You said there are 36 employees, I say. Where are they now? He shakes his head. As far as I know, everyone else is gone. Gone where? He points to the screen that it still informs us of unexpected power failure and cringes. If this power failure was not corrected in time, there's no telling. But they're here in the facility somewhere, right? I ask, hoping someone will be able to help Dennis better than I can. I just don't know, Marcus says. They could be anywhere. Look, I say, furious with the way he's talking in the riddles. I don't... Oh, God, Dennis says. I look over to him and he looks as pale as a ghost. He stood up and his eyes are locked on the monitor closest to him. What? I ask. He simply points to the monitor and then looks away. I look at the monitor and see the logging site. But more specifically, I see the overturned dozer and the legs sticking out from under it, wearing work boots, right there where I left him. Tony. The fact of his death seems abstract, almost like it happened in some other world or a very long time ago. I know that you already told me that he was gone, Dennis whispers, but it's different actually seeing him. My God. Suddenly something blazes by the open door outside. The shape is fast and in shadow, but I'm pretty sure it's a person. Someone else is here, Marcus says, wheeling around. He sounds very happy to discover this, so I try to follow his lead. If something bad happened at this facility, then surely the sight of another survivor is a good thing, right? We should check it out, he says. I realize this isn't the best moment to leave Dennis after revisiting Tony's death all over again. Someone just ran by the door, I tell him. Hopefully it's someone who can help us. We'll be okay. It's fine. Go see who it is, he says, giving me a mock thumbs up. I turn to Marcus and motion for us to head out to investigate. Let's be careful, Marcus says. Depending on who it is, they might not be as hesitant to shoot a stranger as I was. I nod at him as I head for the door. I'm still holding the rifle in my hand, and I don't know if I have the guts to actually use it if it needed. With a final look back at Dennis, I run out to the second level hallway. Who is it? It's not a person. It's definitely not a person. I know that for sure. Hello? Marcus follows. There's still fear in his eyes, but also the slightest glimmer of hope. That hope is contagious. We take off after the figure that just ran past the command center. Ahead of us, the facility presents yet another long hallway. Right away, I notice that the level of the facility seems darker even though the lights are all on now. The hallway is adorned with numbered yellowed doorways and large white panels along the walls. It's clean and well maintained, but there's something ominous about it. Up ahead, I see a fleeting motion of something dark cutting quickly to the left down a corridor. There, I say quietly, pointing up ahead. Marcus gives a nod and we continue chasing after the person we saw blaze by the command center just moments ago. It then occurs to me that this person could be like Marcus was at first, armed and scared. Still move slowly, don't fucking just yell shit. When we reach the intersection in the hall where I'd seen a shadow moving, I ease around the corner just in case. Sure, I have a rifle in my hands, but I don't want to use it unless I have to. I quickly dart around the corner and take the same shooting stance I've seen countless times on TV. There's a woman standing there, about 10 feet away. She has reddish blonde hair and a small, mousy build. She looks terrified and is visibly shaking. She's probably in her late 30s, wearing a lab coat with dark jeans and green Converse low tops. I have a strange sense that her fear is not just about her sudden appearance. She looks like a woman who's been running scared for a while now. Her hands are raised in surrender. She's not holding a weapon. Marcus slowly approaches, taking a few steps ahead of me. It's Amy, right? He asks. She blinks, seemingly surprised that he knows her name. Yes, she says. And you're Marcus. She nods absently and looks to my rifle. I'm not going to use that. No way. Now, how do I know that? She asks. You're trespassing on government property in the midst of a huge catastrophic event, and you have a rifle. How am I supposed to believe you? I have a friend back in the command center who needs medical attention, I say, and we're looking for the rest of our crew. I'm really sorry, but I don't know where they are, she says. Do you know what's happened? Marcus asks. From the power outage? I don't know what caused it, she says, but there was an experiment taking place when the outage occurred. Something happened, and she trails off here, giving me a look of distrust. I saw things on the security monitors, Marcus says. The experiment failed, didn't it? I don't know the specifics, Amy said. I barely escaped the 3rd floor. I was going to go to the command center to see if the security footage showed anything, but then I saw you and the gun. Listening to the conversation, I'm feeling totally in the dark. I want to know both, but what experiments? Amy looks to me, her eyes wide and terrified. Who are you anyway? She asks. I quickly give her my story, a logger stranded in the woods following a peculiar explosion at the logging site. As I tell her, recognition blooms in her eyes. You're one of the loggers? Yes. She then looks to Marcus and says, I thought they were being watched. They were, Marcus says. This was a freak accident, and there's no proof that they were responsible. I feel myself wanting to submit to all these questions that are piling up in my head, but Dennis is waiting for me. I gotta help Dennis because he's dying. I decide that despite my curiosity, I need to get Dennis help as soon as humanly possible. Look, is there any medical help to be had here or not? I ask. Probably, Amy says, but you'd have to find Colonel Barksdale. He knows of where all the sorts of supplies are here. And where is he? Where is everyone else? I ask. At this, Amy starts to weep. She falls to her knees as if someone had struck her from behind. Gone, she says. Some were killed and some were just, I don't know. They disappeared right in front of me. What the hell is going on here? Something's here with us, Amy says. We were conducting an experiment and it all went horribly wrong. Something came through. Came through what? Marcus asks. I don't even know that much. An entity? But whatever it is, it's still here somewhere, Amy responds. How could you not know? Don't you have full security access, I ask? No, I have access to almost everything, but there are 2 levels of security beyond my clearance. So, what do you suggest we do now? I ask. I'm not sure, she says, wiping her tears away, but if you want to find your crew, we need to find Barksdale. He's in charge. Where is he? I ask. Down on the 3rd level, in the hangar. Then, let's go, I say. It's not that easy, Amy says, again looking to the rifle in my hands. Why not? Like I said, there's something came through there when the power went out. There are several of them, all roaming the 3rd level. What came through? All I know is that the others refer to them as entities. Amy shudders as she recalls the horrors that she had seen. I don't even know how to describe them. I didn't get a good look, she says. All I did was run for my life. Behind me I just heard screams. I know it's not very scientific of me, but I didn't feel like sticking around to learn more. She's right, Marcus says, stopped my train of thought. The things I saw on the monitors, it was crazy. This is insane, I bark. I'm going to the 3rd level to find this Barksdale guy. Thanks for your help. Wait, Marcus said. I'm sticking with you. If we want to get out of here, we have to find Barksdale, right? Yes, Amy says, but Barksdale is on the 3rd floor and it's too dangerous to go back there. I figured I'll let them make their own decision. In the meantime, I start heading back to the command center to get Dennis. Before I get there, I hear their footfalls behind me getting closer. I give Amy a questioning look and she quickly looks away, clearly torn. Neither one of you know where your way around here, she says. Looking for Barksdale on your own would be suicide. Like it or not, she has a point. Fine, I say. Then let's get Dennis from the command center and head down together. Shit's about to get fucking crazy right now. He's not gonna be there, or he's gonna be dead, or both. No, he's gonna be gone. He's gonna be dead. I don't know. We enter the command center, and I'm happy to see that Dennis has regained some of his color. Okay, good. We're going to get you some help, I tell him, and then we're going to find our crew and get the hell out of here. More help would be great, he says. With the way you ripped off my shirt earlier, I'm not letting you touch me again. Wait, Amy says. Maybe one of us should stay here with him. I'll be okay, Dennis says. He stands to his feet with a grunt. You don't know what's out there, Amy says. I saw them. I saw what they can do. This facility is not safe. Are there any of them on this floor? I'm not sure, she says, but they are down on the 3rd floor, so we'll need to be careful. Marcus looks a little hesitant, but he nods his agreement, and the 4 of us exit the command center. Heading back out into the hallway, I look back to the monitors. I take a final look at the screen that shows my wrecked logging site, and I feel a pang of sorrow. Then I look at the other monitors showing live feeds of the facility's security cameras. I try to tell myself that I'm not looking for any sign of Amy's creatures, but I can't. It's exactly what I'm doing, and there's no need to pretend otherwise. We head back through the hall and towards the elevator. The tension exists between us like it's a physical presence. Oh man. What is it? What's happening? What experiments? This is so interesting. We step inside the elevator and those pristine doors close. Inside the elevator, Amy seems to become much more guarded and distant from us. I want to assure her that I mean her no harm, but I'm also not going to put the rifle down. So you have a pretty high clearance in this place, right? I ask her. That's right. So what kind of experiment are we talking about? What went wrong? When she starts to answer my question, I can tell that it is something of a relief for her to get some of it off of her chest. There's been a lot of work on the project taking place here over the last 3 years or so. The purpose is to find out if there is any real visible science behind point-to-point instantation. Like teleporting? I ask. Oh my god, Marcus says. I had no idea. I knew there was some weird stuff here, but nothing that insane. It's really not at all insane, Amy says. We found our first major breakthrough about 9 months ago. We were able to transport a live rat from its cage on level 3 to a small lab in New Mexico. The trip took the rat 5 seconds. Are you kidding me? Dennis says. I can tell that he wants to sound as if he is mocking the idea, but he fails. He is scared. Hold on. Ouch. Not at all, Amy says. The problem was that... Oh, my throat. The problem was that when the rat arrived, its retinas were detached and the intestines were on the outside of its body. What the fuck? Did you ever perfect it? Well, about 6 months ago, we successfully made the same experiment. The rat arrived in great health, and this time in just 3 seconds. Still, one of the things that we needed to tweak in order to make the process completely safe was how to figure out how to keep the subject on a straight course. When the matter is being transported, not only are its atoms being unkit and then put back together upon arrival. Unkit? Yes, deconstructed and translated through space. It's the only way we know how to do it right now. But the issue, as I said, comes in keeping the deconstructed object on a straight course to its destination. When the process occurs, we are deforming space-time. We are creating a shortcut through space, and that has risks. Why, exactly? Dennis asks. Because there are many more dimensions in space than the 3 we exist on, she explains. There's some evidence that there are as many as 10. So when we send the rat to New Mexico, it's traveling through another dimension to get there, I ask. To get there? I ask. Basically. And because of that, we were trying to get a better understanding of what those other dimensions are capable of. Things that a great deal of the population would be scared of if they knew what we were doing, hence all the privacy. Then today, the power went out as we were right in the middle of an experiment. Something happened. What? I don't know. She's speaking with the authority of someone who knows what she's talking about. What have you seen? What have you seen in these dimensions? Other worlds, other Tegmark universes, where our laws of nature don't apply, she says, not bothering to explain what that means. I'm not cleared for such things, but I do get the reports. What reports? Marcus asks. I'm given access to the reports of the tests. In other words, Marcus replies, clearly upset. You guys have been peeking into other dimensions and taking notes on what you see. I can't believe I've wasted my life for this, he murmurs to himself. He looks like he's starting to freak out. Amy is quiet. Her expression indicates that she's waiting to see how I react to all this. It's incredible. That is really fucking cool. So this is like interdimensional stuff, I ask. In a way, Amy answers. Marcus, on the other hand, is ridiculous. I don't want anything to do with this, he says. All this time I've been working for he laughs cruelly, and the sound of it makes my blood go cold for a moment. Just a single level beneath my feet, you assholes have been tearing apart space and time, Marcus continues. When the elevator door opens, I can't get out fast enough. The tension is growing way too thick for my liking. Outside of the elevator, we step out into what appears to be a massive industrial area. The carnage waiting for us is unlike anything I'd seen in the upper levels. Oh man, I'm so curious. What the whoa. Whoa. What is happening? The area looks industrial, like everything was built for utility only. But more noticeably than that is all the blood. My God, I've never seen so much blood. These creatures must have had a field day. Holy shit, Marcus says, looking like a man that just woke up from a very bad dream. There were more personnel in this area when the experiment went haywire, Amy says, as if the explanation makes it all better. The research you all do down here had better been worth it, I say. We have to get moving or we're going to lose our nerve. Amy, let's focus. Birksdale is in the hangar, I ask. Is in the hangar? I ask. If he's still alive, yes. That's where he'll be. Then let's hurry, I say. As far as I can tell, Dennis is doing much better, but I'm beginning to grow tired of trying to keep my fear at bay. Between the blood on the floor, the silence of level 3, and Amy's talk of the lab rats, I'm getting freaked out. I'll go first, stay behind me. Of course, I got this. The four of us start walking ahead, with me in the lead. We stop walking when we come to the remains of what looks like to be 3 different people. It is hard to tell how many bodies there were because they had been torn to shreds and are distorted. 2 of the bodies looked as if they had been fused together. Another man looks to have had his leg welded through the floor. I can see this man's face. He died in an abject state of horror, his mouth pried open in an eternal scream. What the fuck? Hell yeah, we're gonna investigate. I see half a face pushed down into the floor like putty, barely attached to a separated skull. A single dead eye stared at me. I think I might puke. Behind me, Marcus does just that. As I listen to him heaving, my eyes cannot leave the carnage. There's blood everywhere, a crimson pool flooding the floor. There are hunks of skin and tissue splattered on the wall, and a strand of unspooled intestine that clings to the floor like a dead snake. Dennis steps up beside me, and when he speaks, his voice is soft and flat. What in the hell could do that to someone? He asks. The things I saw, Amy answers. They could do it pretty easily, I think. She looks pale, and I think she might pass out at any moment. Tears spill from her eyes, and she is visibly shaking. But she soldiers on, looking back to me and stepping to the side of the gruesome carnage. Her eyes again to my rifle, and she doesn't look very hopeful. You good to go? She asks me. We need to move on, but for some reason I can't take my eyes off of the scene. My mind is reeling, trying to process it all. Yeah, let's go. We leave the grisly site behind, moving into another equally destroyed area. From what I can tell, the next room was once an open area for experimentation. The place hasn't just been destroyed, it had been physically altered in a way that makes no sense. The gritters look to have been warped, their very materials distorted and twisted. To my right, a machine has been catapulted and looks to have somehow merged with the wall rather than crashing into it. Beyond these phenomena, there is the standard violence I was expecting to see. There's a limp arm sticking out from underneath the wreckage, and more blood. I see no signs of an explosion, which makes me wonder just how this happened. Seeing the aftermath is sickening enough, but it makes me wonder if Amy saw it while it was happening. You see all these people, you see what happened to these girders? You see how these people died? I only caught a glimpse of it, she says. It was like trying to focus your eye on something that was too close. They just started twisting, but not creaking or breathing. It's like these creatures are able to deform matter. She pauses here, and that's when we hear something echo through the facility. It comes from behind us and slightly to the right. I'm not sure what it is, but it makes my blood feel like ice. It sounds almost like static from an AM radio, but there's a high-pitched noise beneath it that I can't even start to fathom. What in the hell is that? I ask, instantly clapping my hands to my ears. One of them, Amy says, her voice a whisper. One of the creatures. That's what they sound like, Dennis asks. That's what they sound like? Dennis asks. I see that he's leaning against the wall again, wincing at the noise. I suddenly realize that I have a death grip on the rifle, ready to shoot at the next thing I see. How far away you think they are? Anything between us and them? How far away do you think they are? About 100 meters, she answers. Not far. Everyone seems to take this as a cue to start moving again. We make our way around the office wreckage, now with a new purpose in our step. We barely make it to the other side of the room, approaching a dark hallway when another high-pitched noise sounds out. This one is louder, closer. We all share a terrified look, and I can tell that Amy is on the verge of losing it. I grip the rifle tightly as we head towards the hallway in front of us. How much further? Close, she says. It's just at the end of this hallway. Dennis speaks up, his voice like ice. Why don't we just haul ass then, huh? No one says anything after that, but I can feel the presence of terror around us, pressing in like one of the new violent gravity. Like some new violent gravity. Oof. It's getting fucking crazy. I'm stoked. Oh, that's gross. It's really gross. I wonder what they are, though, where they came from. The small utility hallway is well lit. It looks as if they were designed only used by selected maintenance workers. What goes on in this area, I ask. I'm looking at Marcus as I ask the question, but he only shrugs in response. She might know, he replies, pointing to Amy. I've never been down here before. It's just a utility hallway, Amy says, but at the end of there is a maintenance room. There should be a gun or two in there. It's also the most direct path to a hangar entrance. As we walk quickly and quietly down the hall, I take a glimpse and feel the hair on the back of my neck on end. The lights become more sparsely spaced, and it's impossible to see just how far the hallway extends into the darkness. This hallway has the occasional trace of bloodshed, but nothing like the main area we've come from. We continue farther down, and just as I begin to see what it looks like a metal door further ahead, I hear yet another shrill sound. This one sounds farther away, but no less demonic. How many of these did you see? Dennis asks Amy. 3, but that's just what I saw. There could be more. What did they look like? Dennis asks. Yeah, what are we dealing with? I don't even know how to explain them, she says. Monsters. That's the only word I can think of. My mind seems to struggle to trying to understand what I was seeing. They're big and they seem to jerk around every few feet or so. They look like they're made of light. That's about all I know for sure. You know, my ex-husband always said I'd let my work kill me, she continues, seemingly unable to stop herself. I mean, I doubt he imagined this exact scenario, but still. As we make our way to the hangar doors, another high-pitched noise rings out, angrier now. Amy stops walking, causing all of us to stop and turn to her. We have to do something to slow these things down, she says. No, Marcus snaps. There's no time. We need to distance ourselves and get to the hangar, fast. Amy ignores him, deep in thought. There's an old hydraulic door set into the wall right here, she says. It hasn't been used for years, though. She looks to me, pleading her case. Together we might be able to pull it closed behind us to keep those things back. Those old hydraulic doors weigh a ton, Marcus says. There's no way it'll work. Roger, Amy says. What do you think? They'll have a harder time getting to us if these doors are locked. Look, Marcus shouts, turning to me. We need to get out of this hangar, now. Oh, man. Such a freaking hard decision. If you stop and the doors don't close, then you can get killed. If you just keep going, they could probably catch up to you. But if you do stop and try and close the doors, and you do close the doors, then it could work. Fuck it. I trust her. Oh gosh. Damn it, Marcus says. We don't have time for this. Amy ignores him and starts feeling along the hallway for a groove. Dennis and I start looking as well. A minute passes. Then I see a small metal frame that runs from the floor to the ceiling. Is that it, I ask? Yes, Amy says. I look to the floor and see an old metal track that runs along the frame. Let's move it, I say. Amy, Dennis, and I start pulling as hard as we can, but it barely budges an inch. Behind us, the static noise rings out again. My heart seems to stutter and Marcus lets out a little whine. We're running out of time. We need to go, Marcus screams. Those things are getting closer every second. Help us. Yeah, fucking... It won't make a difference, he says. Shut up and help us, and we'll find a way out, I shout. Reluctantly, Marcus walks over and grasps the door. We all groan as we strain to pull. It starts inching slowly and then begins moving steadily. Once we get it started, it slides easily. As we near the wall, closing off the hallway behind us, I think I can see a merest glimpse of an odd illuminated shape in the darkness. It's cut off by the slight thump of the hydraulic door being pushed against the frame in the opposite wall. Amy turns a lock into place. Great, now let's haul ass, says Marcus. We all turn and get moving again, still feeling unsure about our prospects. The fact that yet another shrill noise sounds out somewhere in the facility is not calming. And then there are 2 of them. It's almost like they're calling out to one another. The doors to the hangar set up ahead like the entrance to some enormous labyrinth. What the fuck? I don't even know what to say about all this. This is insane. Are they trying to... They probably came from these other 10 dimensions that they opened. When we reach the hangar doors, I get a true sense of how impenetrable they are. A computer terminal is mounted on the wall nearby and has a blinking red light. Any idea what this means, I ask? It's an automatic lock, a failsafe from the lockdown, says Amy. I've never been down here before, Marcus says. If I had known this door was here, I would have opened it earlier. How? Amy asks. The fear in her voice is more present than ever. From the command center, he says. You need to override from there first, then use this terminal to open the hangar doors. The command center on the second floor? I ask. Yeah. Amy shakes her head and lets out a nervous laugh. Are you kidding? She asks. We just pulled that hydraulic door and blocked off the hallway, remember? If we want to get into that hangar, we have to get back to the command center, Marcus says. Isn't there another way? Turning to Marcus, Amy replies, well, there is another elevator, but we'll need to go through biochem storage. I need to stay with Dennis so he can rest, I say. You two go. You know your way around this place, and you know the controls, Marcus. Fine, Marcus says, but we'll need to be armed. I like Marcus. I don't know Amy enough yet. I hand Marcus the rifle, and he turns to go. Amy gives me a concerned look, but follows along behind him. Oh, shoot. Once Amy and Marcus make it a good distance down the hallway, Dennis lets out a nervous laugh. And then there were two, he says. Dennis looks much better, but he still needs to use the wall to stay standing. Didn't Amy say that there were guns and emergency kits in the maintenance room near the hangar doors? I ask. Yeah, I think so, Dennis says, looking exhausted. I look ahead and see a door to the right that reads maintenance. Might as well give it a try. I go to the door, try to open it, and find that it's locked. Push with your shoulder. I don't know. I give it a hard shove, but it doesn't budge. I'm about to try again, but that's when I hear the dry choking sound from just down the hallway. It's barely audible, but it is not my imagination. My first thought is that it's one of those things, one of the monsters. But after calming my nerves and reassessing, it sounds more like a person. I think about how angry and on edge Amy was when she turned to leave, as well as how scared Marcus had looked. Our alarm bells sound in my head, and before I know it, I'm headed back down the hall away from the hangar doors. Stay here, I'll be right back, I whisper over my shoulder to Dennis. See if he can figure out how to get into that maintenance room. Where are you going? He asks. I don't bother answering him as I bound through the door where Amy and Marcus went. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. What the fuck happened? As I enter the biochem room and start walking between the massive silos, I wonder what classified chemicals could be inside of them. I am fully expecting one of Amy's creatures to come flying out from the intersection of halls up ahead. I think I hear something, a skittering noise, like something moving quickly. I run ahead so fast that I almost trip over two people in a life or death struggle. My mind tries to process what I am seeing, but it makes no sense. None at all. Marcus is on the floor with Amy pinned beneath him. He has the rifle at her throat, pushing her down to the floor and choking her with it. His face is turning purple and her eyes look like they might pop out of her head. Marcus sees me coming out of the hallway but acts as if what he's doing is perfectly normal. Stop him. I start rushing towards him before I really know what I'm doing. I bring my fist down in a hard arc across the bridge of his nose, and I'm rewarded with a sick cracking sound. He cries out as he falls to the ground, looking at me as if he doesn't understand why I punched him. On the floor, Amy clutches at her neck and gasps for breath. I start to fear that the moment was too late, that I had just seen the rifle had been thrown across the floor. Marcus seems to notice this at the exact moment that I do. Go for the rifle. Stop hitting people. We both go for the rifle at once. He takes a single stumbling step towards it, wobbling a bit from my punch. I dive for it, and when I hit the floor, it feels like I'm a baseball player trying to steal third. Our hands both fall on it, but when I yank it away, he manages to kick me, knocking the rifle to the floor again. The kick catches me squarely in the ribs, knocking the breath out of me. What the hell are you doing? He yells at me. By killing her, I'm saving us. All of this was her fault. I sense that he truly believes this, but if that's the case, then why not just shoot her rather than strangle her with the rifle? The answer is simple. We would have heard the gunshot, and I, or those things, would have come running. He wanted to kill her quietly. And then what? Would he have done the same thing to Dennis and me? It seems fitting, really. When he first came upon Marcus, he'd held a gun on us. I'd been so relieved to see another human being that I had underestimated just how unhinged he was. Marcus and I both dive for the rifle, still lying on the floor, and start wrestling for possession, but I'm not confident I'll come away with it. As we struggle, he starts inching the muzzle of the gun towards my face, as a position I do not want to be in. I start pushing back hard, but if this thing accidentally fires, I'm not sure where I'd prefer the bullet to go, especially in this room full of chemical tanks. Oh, fuck, man. What the fuck do I do? Well, we don't want to shoot the tank. We don't want to... Shit, man. I don't know. I grunt as I push the muzzle to point towards his face. Realizing he is literally looking down the barrel of the gun, Marcus ducks his head out of the way. This makes him lose leverage, allowing me to yank the gun from his grip. That's good. I get to my feet as quickly as I can, swinging the rifle back around from him. For a moment, I think I've knocked him out, but his eyes flutter and he looks at me as if I've betrayed him. Her people, he says. It was them that did this. She deserves to die. She did this. I look to Amy and wish I could help her. I'm relieved to see that she's managing to draw in a few breaths. Her legs move as she tries to push herself into a sitting position. You wouldn't know, Marcus says. You didn't work here under their secrecy. You don't know what it was like to... He surprises me by lunging towards me, leaping from the floor like a human projectile. I don't have time to aim carefully. I have to react fast. Try to dodge. We don't want to try and kill him yet, I guess. His aim is poor and his strength is failing, so I dodge him easily. There you go. I don't want to have a gunshot go off and alert those creatures to where we are. Make a hard jab of the butt of the rifle, striking him in the chest. Something crunches and he lets out a whoosh of air. He crumples for a moment and then goes to his knees. He roars in pain to the floor. Only after a few moments, I realize that they are not purely screams of pain. The bastard is calling for them, calling for those creatures to come for us. This place is evil, along with everyone involved. He wails from the floor. If you are taking our side, then you deserve to die too. If you want to stop me, you'd better do it now, you coward. The rage in his eyes at Amy, as well as towards me for stopping him, makes me think that he'll deliver on his threat. I raise the rifle again, every urge in my body wanting to make sure he doesn't come back to bite us. But I'm not a violent man. I could easily not kill him and just leave him behind. Fuck, man. I don't know. It's such a hard decision. If I kill him, I make a noise and they come for us. If I don't kill him, he'll probably do something to us. Fuck it. I'm sorry. God damn it. I aim for his head and start to squeeze the trigger, but I can't complete the motion while I'm looking at him. I close my eyes and tightly squeeze the trigger. The muzzle bursts and I hear Marcus crumple onto the floor. It's not for another 10 seconds or so that I realize I've been standing still, frozen with my eyes closed and my teeth clenched. I try to avoid looking at Marcus's body and instead lean down to Amy. You okay? I ask. She nods slowly. Have to go, she says, her voice raspily. They'll be here any minute. Too much noise. I have to hold her arm so she can get to her feet. We start forward and then I think of Dennis. We should go back to the hangar doors, I say. I can't just leave Dennis there. There's no time, Amy says. You need to come up with me to the command center, now. We'll be back for him soon. I stare at Marcus's dead body for a moment, trying to comprehend the fact that my own hands caused him to die. It is a turning point in my life that I will never recover from. But there's no time to weigh it now. As I look at him, another high-pitched static sound rings out from elsewhere. It's louder, more ferocious. Amy takes off, presumably towards the other elevator she had mentioned moments ago. As we move out, I look back once more at Marcus's body, motionless. We start running, and after the first few strides, another noise sounds out. It sounds mechanical, but at the same time, it also reminds me of recordings I've heard of whale songs. A sound of metallic creaking and crashing echoes through the door I came in through. They've reached the hydraulic door we pulled, Amy says, confirming that what I'm thinking. The sound grows louder as it clears. They're struggling with it, which is good. We have a bit more time. I speed up my step to follow Amy as she leads the way to the other elevator. She's panting ferociously but pushes on. I can hear something rattling in her breath, likely the result of Marcus's attack. This makes me imagine how his cold, uncaring eyes must have looked, staring down at her as she tried to deliver her to death. How is he still forging on is beyond me. How she is still forging on is beyond me. I'm sorry about Marcus, I say. It's not your fault, she interrupts. When you handed him the gun, you didn't know he would use it on me. I just hope we can find the way to survive this mess. We'll be fine, don't worry. I'm not so sure, she says, her eyes fixed straight ahead. I'm not sure I can blame her. I just wanted to say something encouraging, I guess. We finally come to the elevator at the end of the row of silos. The elevator door slides open slowly. At this moment, we hear something behind us, a strangled sort of whistling sound. We step inside and turn around to face the biochem room. Thankfully, we've been given a few moments to spare. The elevator doors remain open for 3 seconds before they start to slide closed again. In those 3 seconds, I see a large shape floating towards us. A phosphorescent, like white glow outlines an impossible shape. Behind it, I see another shape that also entered the biochem room, and another. The third one breaks away from the other two, taking a quick right and moves with an eerie speed. They are heading in the direction of Marcus's body. Honestly, the thought of them feasting on his corpse doesn't bother me in the slightest. Amy is pressing the button too close to the elevator and over, and they stay open for what seems like an eternity. I curse whoever designed these damn doors. Stand in the doorway, ready to shoot. We can't go anywhere, I figure, so no use in hiding. I take a step and stand firm in the elevator doorway. I hold the rifle steady, ready to fire, and that's when I see them in a clear light for the first time. I can see their features, their shape and their colors, but my mind can't quite process it all. Nothing about them makes any sense. My eyes try to see a squid, but that's not what the things are. They are gray and white and seems to be nothing more than squirming light. Their appendages are neither legs nor tentacles, but somewhere in between. They don't walk on appendages, but use them to glide. They move like ghosts and seem to jerk every few feet or so, but I'm pretty sure their jerking effect is not the result of their moving, but their mind's inability to understand how they are moving exactly. It's also more than just their appearance that makes a mockery of reality. The light around them seems to bend inward, as if their space within the room has to reshape itself for their existence. That peculiar effect on the air makes their movements seem like something moving underwater, only faster. They screech in unison as they rush towards the elevator. They'll be inside here in another few seconds. I check the rifle and see what my ammo is diminishing. I have to start saving my shots. I'm going to have to be choosy. Don't shoot. Ah, fuck. Always save your ammo. They keep advancing, even though I know the doors may not close in time. I manage to keep my cool and avoid firing off any more rounds. My finger itches to pull the trigger, but I resist. I'm not even sure if a gun would affect them. Finally, the elevator doors close. The creatures wash against the other side of the door, making an electrical noise and crying out in anger. The tips of their spider-like appendages poke through the wall and elevator door, but for some reason they can't get all the way through. Amy screams at this one and curls into a ball in the far corner of the elevator, crying. I say nothing to her. I just cling to the rifle, hoping these creatures don't find Dennis as he waits by the hangar doors, where I left him. For his sake and ours, we need to get them open now. Oh man, there was a lot in that chapter. Holy shit, that was insane. So Marcus is dead. Quote, dead. I'm sure it said something about he was like calling out to them or something. I don't know if I read that wrong. Is he part of them? Was he trying to help them get in? Was he trying to tell them where we were? I don't really understand that, but holy shit. This game is insane. I love this. This is so fun. Thank you guys so much for watching Chapter 3. I hope to see you guys in the next, I think there's 5 chapters, so the next few chapters, next couple chapters. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in Chapter 4.